Good morning from Colombia, South America. Thanks for all your views, everyone. I'm really excited about my new channel, and I look forward to helping so many people along the route of researching and eventually becoming an expat. I've had actually a lot of questions about just general cost of living here in Colombia, and I thought I'd take just a moment and give you an idea on what I spend. So I tend to probably spend more than a lot of people as far as price point. I mean, I really do try to stay on budget, and it's incredibly inexpensive here in Colombia. What I mean by pricey is my apartment that I purchased is a strata 4, and in Colombia, stratas are sort of the level of home quality, neighborhood, that type of thing. And strata 5 is the most expensive. There's great places that are in strata 2 and strata 3 though as well. So it's just really a matter of personal preference. But to give you an idea, my price for my home was $160,000. And to rent here in the region I'm in, I'm not right in the city, but just depending upon where you look and where you want to go, you can rent anywhere from I would say $500 a month for something really basic, probably a little bit more remote than where I am, and then on up to $1,500 a month. Anyway, there's the full gamut here. You can still feel safe, you can still be in a wonderful area and pay next to nothing or pay more. So it's totally up to you. But back to what my cost of living is. I live on less than my Social Security. Because I own my condo, which we call apartments here, because I own my apartment, I own it outright because I sold my house in Florida and bought this here for a fraction of the cost. I save on rent, obviously, but I do have an HOA fee, and that's $112 a month. In the area where I live in Colombia, I'm not down on the coast by the Caribbean where it's hot and humid, where you need air conditioning. I am in a region that is known as the Eternal Spring region. And here in Medellín and all the outlying areas, the average high where I am is actually a little cooler than in Medellín. So its typical day is maybe 72, 75 max. And then in the evening, it's around anywhere between 53 and 58 degrees. So it's absolutely perfect weather. It's not all muggy like it is in Florida, for instance, where I used to live. And interestingly enough, because Colombia is right on, well, not right on the equator, but it's right next to Ecuador, which is on the equator, there really aren't any changes in the seasons here, just minimal. So this great weather here is year round. And because of that, my electric bill only is $30 to $35 a month. Because again, I don't need air conditioning, I don't need heat. But honest to goodness, if I did need air conditioning, I can't even imagine how inexpensive that would still be. It would probably be maybe, I don't know, $60 a month for my electric bill, $50 a month, something like that. My community and most areas where I live have fiber optic internet, which is super fast. I pay $26 a month for that. My cell phone, which includes unlimited talk and data, is $26 a month. So I'm sure you're already beginning to tell that it's substantially less expensive here. Now that I have a visa, my government insurance is $60 a month, and that's with no co-payments. Absolutely 100% of everything is covered. They have a great medical system here, gorgeous hospitals, and the doctors are so attentive. Most doctors give you their personal cell phone number. You can call them anytime. I do have experience of needing a vet though. For my little dog Petunia, I had no idea what was going on in the middle of the night. I thought she was choking to death. She was coughing so hard and gagging. And so it was on a holiday, and I found a mobile vet And most veterinarian facilities and doctors do also do house calls, but this particular vet was available in the middle of the night on the holiday. So he came out and he diagnosed her with a heart murmur that I'd always known she'd had a little one, but because of her age, it had increased, and he recommended a cardiologist, and he actually accompanied me to the cardiologist's appointment. The visit to see both of them was about $40. And mind you, this is a cardiologist, so she had ultrasound, EKG, all this stuff to see what was going on with her. And that's all that it costs. And I can't even imagine in the US what that would have been. Not hundreds, but probably close to $1,000, maybe more. I have no idea. Then the house call that her regular vet made that holiday was only $30. And again, came to me on a holiday. I couldn't believe it. So that gives you an idea of that. I'm really focusing on little Petunia here, but here's another example. When I left Florida, her grooming, she is a terrier, so she's got to have her hair cut, and so a shampoo and cut used to be $60, and I went to a very reasonable place. There were places all over my area in Florida much more expensive than that. So that used to be $60, it went up to $75. So then with tip, it was close to $90 for her groom, and she needs to have it because her hair grows fast about every 2 months. So again, spending close to $90. And then when she gets a cut and groom here, and they do a better job, her nails are incredible. She not only gets a bow, but they put little jewels on her forehead. It's so cute. They fall off in a couple of days, but they do a remarkable job, and they're so sweet with her. And guess what? With tip, I pay $16, yes, $16 every 2 months to groom my dog. And ladies, so let's talk about some of our stuff. I'm a little bit high maintenance. You know, some people, a lot of people come to Colombia, they're here for the hiking and horseback riding and, you know, all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love to be grubby, I love to do all of that. But in general, I don't know, I'm just kind of a dressy person. So to get, ladies, this, which is a dip, I don't do acrylic, I do the powder dip with gel on top, and a full pedicure runs $20. This cost, when I left Florida close to a year ago, that was up to, I think, about $50, I can't remember. And then a pedicure ranged anywhere from 50 on up, and I always got a basic. So to get a manicure, well, this is a little bit more than the manicure, but to get a manicure and pedicure with all of this extra stuff in Colombia is $20. So I do that about every 4 or 5 weeks too. As I mentioned, I bought and I don't rent. I'm in a gated community. Just about everything in this area and also in Medellín is gated, or in other words, has a guard. So there's live guard there, and also cleaning staff for the buildings themselves, for the public areas. We have a beautiful belvedere with a organic garden that's free for residents to pick from, and the landscape staff, they maintain the garden for us. So all of that for $112 a month. I have my visa now, so I was able to get government insurance, and that runs $60 a month, and that's full medical coverage, so no co-payments, pays 100%. And by the way, the hospitals here are incredible. I've not been in one in Medellín, but I did have to go see a specialist. There's something I have to get checked every 4 months. So I had to find a hematologist and have lab work done. And in the United States, of course, I had Medicare, and so I just paid a $50 specialist copay, and the lab work was free. But I can't imagine if I didn't have insurance what that would run in the US. But I would guess probably around $800. And here in Colombia, so again, before I had the insurance here, I just had a little travel insurance policy for emergencies and things like that, so it wouldn't cover it. But I paid out of pocket, and that cost me around $100, and that included all the lab work too. So very inexpensive. And by the way, the hospital is breathtaking. It is so state of the art, I can't even believe it. It's nicer than any of the hospitals in my local area in Florida. The hospital even has a concierge for people who speak English and not Spanish. And what she did was she came out and greeted me and walked me through making the appointment, because I couldn't call on the phone. My Spanish, I mean, I'm working on it, but it wasn't fluent enough to call there and ask about making an appointment and all that. So I went there in person, and she came out into the lobby and just walked me through the whole thing, set up my appointments, and I got the results of my lab work before I saw the specialist. I immediately, just like back in the US, they have a computerized system, and all my lab work came up in an email to me so I could see where I was at even before I saw him. So very, very happy with that. And now that I have the government insurance, I won't pay anything at all for that.